Hey, hi. I'm Mona. This is Sacred Geometry Universe Video Journal Diary for February 18th, 2024. Yeah, I just woke up, okay, and I feel really good. I feel good. I don't feel like I even have any hypertension or anything. No rapid heart rate. I feel relaxed. I put on a song this morning, and Brian was dancing, and I couldn't do the chit chat yesterday because the more I spoke about what was going on, like the more upset I got and the more I could feel my hypertension rise, right? But I feel really, really good right now. So I'm going to do this right now. And I want to tell you guys real quick what happened to me yesterday. So I went to the hospital, right? And, you know, the EMTs and the fire department, police department here, when they got me, they were good. I'm a little chilly. They were good. Everything was perfect. And you know, like, they don't know what happens to you after they drop you off. Like, they think that they are sending you to a place that is safe, you know, because they are providing safety out here, but then you go there and then they have to drop you off, and they kind of don't know what happens to you after. And so yeah, I have a fear of hospitals because I've been mistreated by doctors and nurses and staff and just everybody. Okay, so I fear to go to hospitals even when my health is bad. Like, I am totally scared. Like, I will call a fire department first and consult them and ask them what they think I should do, because I'm scared, right? So I said, okay, I haven't been to a civilian hospital in, like, I don't even remember, until like years, more than maybe 10 or 15 years ago, And so, they're like, well, we have a good hospital. So they thought, maybe they do good in some things, but not for me. And so I kind of thought, because that's what the police officer was telling me. I was like, you know what? All right, I'm going to take your word, and I'm just going to be open-minded, and I'm going to go there and see. And so they were like, all right, so everything got together. They took me there, and the lady walked me in, and I told the nurses and the staff there right when I got there, I said, look, I have PTSD, and I am traumatized by nurses, so I have a fear of nurses, and I told them my fears. And when I said that, I looked to the side and I could see the two nurses there. They're like, like, they roll their eyes, like, and I'm just like, but I'm going to be open-minded, And so they took me in there, and I was being trying to relax and try to do my own self meditation, try not to listen too much to them, because already I felt uncomfortable. And so, they were doing their thing, and I'm trying to tell them, my pains and my situations and what's going on. And, everything was good. So they plugged me up to the machines. Everything was good. The doctor comes in. That doctor's great. She's nice, And I told her, I don't take pharmaceuticals, and I'm not on any blood pressure medicine. What do you suggest I do, for my own self-healing? And she named a whole bunch of stuff. And, a lot of that stuff I do already, but she was nice and she was compassionate. And so, she did what she did, and she left. And so, she's not like in the nurse station right there in the emergency. She's walking around, she's doing things, right? So she doesn't know how they're treating me. She has no idea. And there is no one to complain to, because I asked somebody if they told me that I could complain to so-and-so, and this, they never sent that person. They never gave me information or anything. Okay. So that's that. All right. So no complaining, right? Because they don't want you to, because they know they're doing wrong. Another thing is, so I let them do their things, and then somebody comes back, one of these little people, these, one of Satan's little helpers over there, and I don't know how to call them really, shoot. And so, like, somebody comes in and says, okay, we're going to check you out. Here's a paperwork and all that. We're going to get you ready to sign out paperwork. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, wow, they didn't even address the concerns about my tightness of chest and, the radiating pain and the numbness of my hand. They didn't, do anything about that. So I was like, oh, I'm like, that's it? And they're like, yeah, your blood pressure's fine. So, like, they had me lay there. They put me through a lot of stress while I was there. And they tried to rile me up, knowing that I had PTSD, so they could handle me and have me pulled out of there. But I have control of my emotions, so they can't do that. So, yeah, like, I was like, okay, I guess, And so she left the room, and I'm starting to, think like, gosh, what about my other things that's happening? And all of a sudden, the blood pressure's going up, my heart rate is going up because I'm worried about myself. So then, I press the nursing button, and I said, I'm having the tightness of the chest, and I told her about the pains and the this and that and the other. So that little, minion, she goes to the front desk head nurse, okay? We'll call her Karen, okay? We'll call her Karen. Yeah. And so Karen comes in the room, and she's like, "Oh, you're still, feeling problems and chest pain." And I told her, "Yeah, I have the chest pains." And I tried to show her, and she's like, she's like this. "Well, if you're having these problems, we're going to have to get blood work. You're going to have to be here for hours, and you're going to have to get x-rays, EKG, just like that." And I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute here." I said, "Don't talk to me like that." I said, "Don't threaten me with my health. Please don't talk to me like that. Calm down first, okay? Calm down before you answer me, calm down." She's like, "This is how I talk." And I was like, all right. And she's like, "So what do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I want the problem taken care of. I mean, if that's what needs to be done, then let's go ahead and go for it." And she's like, so I hear her, she goes to like the next room. It's like close, either the next room or the next one. I don't know, but it was very close because she's so loud when she speaks. She's like, "Ah," and "Ah," So I could hear her go to the next room, and she's like, she's over there. Now she wants to do this, and she wants to do that. And, I can hear her, and she's talking to people. And I heard that, and I was like, whoa, is she mocking me? I don't even sound like that. She was trying to be like that. I sound like, I don't sound like that, you guys. You guys know that. So I'm like, "Excuse me, I can hear you. Can you not mock me?" And then they're like, "We're not mocking you." And I was like, okay, So I just began being silent because I could not believe that this was happening. And you know what? I'll tell you what. Before this happened, like, everyone was cool and they were just nice. They were just doing their jobs, But once I said, "Look, I'm still feeling not good," they got mad. And then so I was like, man, this sucks, for me. This sucks for me. And so I'm just sitting there. I'm like, well, you know what? She threatened me and told me that I'll be here for hours. So I'm just gonna get my phone, and I'm trying to, I'm gonna listen to some videos or something, I'm just gonna watch some YouTube. But the service or the data reception wasn't very good where I could be. Like, I would have to stand up and go to the window so I was like, oh, I can't get it. So I was putting the phone up like this to try to see if I could get some reception or do something like this, and look at it. And they thought that I was filming them. They got paranoid. That I was filming them. Now, I'm a YouTuber, but I don't film any place without permission. I don't do that. So, I heard them saying, "Oh, they're filming. She's filming. And I was like, oh." So I put my phone down because I didn't want them to think I was doing anything wrong. So I put my phone down, I put it to the side, I'm like, dang, I can't even watch my phone without them being paranoid over here. Next thing you know, they send these huge security guards in there. One had to be over 6 feet, maybe the other one 6 feet, and they were real intimidating, and they were giving me that look of intimidation. And I'm all, whoa, what's going on here? They come in and they shut the door. I said, "Excuse me, open that door." They said, "No, we're not opening the door." I said, "I am a victim of sexual abuse. I cannot be in a room alone with two men. Open that door right now." So the other guy, he cracked it, like, not enough, but I said, "Just crack it enough to make me feel better." So he cracked it enough. So right there, that's a number 2 triggering my PTSD and the sexual abuse that I've endured in the past. That's the second time that they made my health decline. Right. So, okay. So they did that. And then so he's all, ma'am, you know, the nurses in the desk, they're having problems because you're filming. I said, no, I'm not filming them. I said, here, come close. I will show you my phone. I am not filming them. He's all, no, no, no. So they wouldn't even check my phone when I wanted to show them that I was not filming them. But after that specific ordeal, it was like I said, they were nice over there until they weren't. Because I caught them lying and saying these things, all of a sudden everybody's attitude changed and they started becoming real mean and nasty to me. You know, the nurse that came in to take my blood, I'm all, you know, can you, you know, we'll call that nurse Orale. Okay, we'll call her Orale. So we got Karen, head nurse Karen. We got nurse Orale, and there was another nurse that also wasn't involved in my care, but she was there wearing some blue smock. We'll call her Crackhead. And then there was another one in the back. We'll call her me, because that's how she speaks. So I could see them all. I could see Karen and Crackhead out there laughing about these things when I just complained about them. That's rude. That's rude. Now, I don't know, yes, 100% if they were mocking me or talking about me, but after what I just experienced and the way they treated me and acted, that is the only thing I can assume, because they are very unprofessional there and they don't keep their voices down. Okay, they're loud and obnoxious women. Okay, yes, these are all women. Okay, so Karen, Orale, Crackhead, and Mimi, they're all women that were working in the area at the time. Okay, we'll call the doctor because she was good. Now, so they sent in these two Sasquatches like that, and I set them straight. I set them straight. They had no reason to be against me, so they had to leave the room. All right, because they were in there to try to increase my anxiety, my PTSD, and to handle me, because that's why they sent those big ass security guys in there. I'm all, you guys know. I'm like, so you can go now. So they left anyways after that. He has a body cam. He had a body cam. Let's hope that body cam is going to be valid and there, because it's going to be brought up. It's going to be asked for. So I'm gonna make sure, like, let's see if those body cam really work. Now, if they have body cams, police have body cams. You can't film in hospitals. That's like a place, like, you can't do it. I know that. I'm not dumb, right? You can't go walking around filming in hospitals. You know, maybe you can film yourself in there because you see that all the time on YouTube. But I didn't, I didn't want to, So, so that was clear. They left, and I was like, all right, this is it's maybe going to be under control. I don't know. So then, this other nurse comes and try to take my blood, and I'm just like, can you please just tell that lady out there to just not be mocking me and talking about me? You know what she all of a sudden says? She goes, we can talk out there. We have to discuss patients. We can talk. I said, ooh, I was like, what a change in attitude Orale has. This is Orale. And I was like, all right. So then I realized I can't even talk to her. So the next person comes in. She's like the billing lady. We'll call her Angel because she was good. She's very nice. And she has a relative who was in the military. So when I was talking to her, and she's like, I'm just your biller. And I was like, I'm sorry. I have no one to talk to and I don't know what to do. And you know what she did? She put her hand on my shoulder. She's like, look, it's okay. Just ignore them. You're strong. You can handle this. You're strong. Look at you now. Look what you've been through. You can handle this, if anything. And I was like, took a couple deep breaths. and I was like, you know what? Thank you so much, because there's no one, because they don't have anybody you can talk to when you have a little mental health emergency. I was like, is there any psychiatrist here, anybody I could talk to? And they're like, no, we don't have anybody here like that. You know, that's what one of the bad people out there told me. And I was like, you know, and then so I was like, all right, you know, the x-ray person comes in, you know. And so I was like, and then it's because I'm so distraught, and I'm like, man, I hate this place. You know, they're treating me so. She's like, oh, I don't, you know, I'm just the x-ray person. I don't know. And I was like, all right. Yeah. You don't know. And I was like, there's no mental health people here in the hospital. She's like, no, we don't have that here. You know, and I was like, oh, you know, because I wanted to double check and ask her. And I was like, you know, she's like, I don't think they have that kind of, you know, for me, I'm just the x-ray person, but I don't. And I was like, you know, and I was like, all right, you know, and she was good. She did the x-ray. She was, you know, she did her thing. And then I said, thank you very much. I appreciate you. And she left. Like, cause I say that to everybody who takes good care of me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. That's everything. That's my last words to them always. And so then, you know, they did those things, and I'm just waiting. And I wasn't there for hours and hours, dude. It took 20 minutes. So that one nurse, Karen, was trying to threaten me because they didn't want to do the work. So I said, so they said, okay, the doctor came in, and she said, okay, everything looks good and everything, you should be okay. You know, we checked your blood work, we checked your heart, everything's good. And, you know, and I appreciate her for, you know, that she put that through for me and checked it out and made sure that I was okay. And she was nice the whole time. And I was like, all right, doctor, thank you so much. And you know, I appreciate you, you know. And so she left. And then, so I had to come, and, you know, I had to sign some couple extra things and separation papers. And okay, and then get this, as I'm gathering my things together, they pulled out the two security guards, right? The big Sasquatch one, and then it was a female, and I think they put the female there because I had mentioned I have been abused, sexually abused by men, and maybe it would have. So that was a good idea, but it may or may not have been their idea. If it was, then that was a good idea. But I kind of think it wasn't. Maybe the other guy was busy because they're not smart enough to know that. Okay. So they came with a lady, and the lady had like a nice demeanor. You know, she was still intimidating, but her demeanor was nice compared to Sasquatch, right? So we're going out, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, we have to escort you out, ma'am. And I was like, oh. And they're like, we don't want you to talk to the nurses. And I was like, oh. Like, I was shocked with that. Like, I had no idea, like, you know? And I was like, all right, you know, let's go. You know, because I did try to go out there because I was like, well, you know, since you guys are letting me go, they told me that you guys would help me figure out how to get a ride. They didn't want to help me. I even tried to do the Uber thing. They didn't want to help me. And when I went out there to ask at the nurse desk, they're like, excuse me, ma'am, we have personal private information here. You're going to have to take your phone down and go in the room. So they're still paranoid, thinking I am recording them. Yes, they need mental health training, or they need each therapist something, okay? So I was like, oh, all right. So I went to the front, and they wanted to push me out the door. And I was like, wait, I need to figure out how to get my ride. And so they're standing there, you know, and the one lady that, you know, that had a different demeanor, you know, they saw that I was going to sit down and then, you know, try to figure this out. And that one lady said, she's like, you know, yeah, you have to enter some stuff. You have to get the app and stuff. The Karen up front tried to tell me that too, before that one, me, told me that. But when she was telling me, the only thing she knew was, I don't use Uber and I don't know about it, but you need to get the app and you need to have a credit card. Like, I don't have money. Like, they were judging me as somebody who is financially distraught or something. And I was like, I have a credit card, you know? And so, like, I stepped away, but then, you know, that happened in that part. But then out front, Angel was up there in the office, the nice lady. And I go to her, and they're still standing there, Sasquatch and the other lady. And I'm like, I'm all right. I'm just going to try to figure this out and sit down. And so they just kind of turned around and went away. And So I went to the angel and she's like, oh, I don't know either. But she turned around and she said, do you know how to use Uber, to somebody in the back? And they were like, oh yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I was like, all right, and then I started doing what they said and everything was working. And I went back up to the thing and I was like, oh, which one should I choose? Because I'm not sure. And she's all, well, choose this one. And I said, okay. So I chose that one. And so I went to sit down and I was waiting for the Uber. And the lady came up to the front, the with a good demeanor, and it's like they were trying to bully me out the doors, and it's freezing outside. They were trying to bully me out the doors, and so I was like, oh God, I can't even handle these people, right? Like, I can't even handle these people. So I just went out in the freezing cold and waited for the guy out there because I saw that it was only like 3 minutes. I made a little video outside in the parking lot. I did. But, that's what happened to me. They gang stalked me in the hospital. They tried to get me to lose control of my PTSD and my emotions. They tried to intimidate me with security so they could bully me and possibly have me taken away because they knew my history of PTSD. So, yeah, that's what happened, you guys. It's terrible. It's terrible. And I'm a good person, and this is my demeanor right here. Like, I don't get out of control anymore. I might cry, but I'm constantly trying to keep my emotions secure, and you can probably see that from the body cam of the police officer, who was an excellent police officer. He was so nice. And those people, they have no idea where they dropped me off and what happened to me, except for the guy in Taylor, Texas, because I had to call him to actually find out where my dogs were because no one was keeping me updated. So I was worried about my dogs. I didn't know where they were. And he was like, oh, they didn't. I said, no, I don't know anything about my dogs. He's all, oh. He said, is this your numbers the same? I said, yeah. I said, I'll call you back. I said, okay, thank you. So I hung up. He called me back with all of the information I needed because he's good. Taylor, Texas, the guy I called, I don't know their names, but those people are great. Police, great. Fire department, great. EMT, great. Hospital, that's hell over there for anyone. I think they use your illnesses and pains and problems against you because they don't want to work there. They don't want to work. They're not happy where they work. So I happened to, when he called me back, he told me where they were. I said, oh, thank you so much. I said, real quick. I told him, you guys, that place I went to was absolutely horrible. And I told him a little bit of what happened. He was like, oh, he's like, I'm sorry. And I'm all, hey, it is not your fault. But, I just wanted to let you know, like they don't help you when they set you free. They don't give you rides. They don't do anything like that. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, it's okay. I'm good with you guys. It's just, that's what happened to me when I got taken there. It was just an absolutely horrible ordeal. My health actually got worse. So he's all, I'm sorry. And I'm all, hey, you know what? I appreciate you though. I appreciate you. And, thank you so much. And then that was it. I got my dogs. My hypertension was still up. Everything was still crazy. I'm just going to keep going. We're just going to hope that this uploads. So everything was up and I was like, you know what? I got to get my dogs. I know they will make me feel better if I get them. So I went down there. I had to go all the way to Georgetown. It's pretty far. It's okay. Because on the way, it's not like a busy drive, like a lot of traffic. And there was not really anybody. So I'm just driving casually. I'm not trying to race. I'm just taking breaths, trying to calmly drive over there. And, and I made it there. And it was a nice mellow drive. So it was nice, so I got there. And I was starting to walk up. And the first thing I saw there on the sign over there was like a no-kill 100%. And for some reason, seeing that sign started to help me to reduce my my anxiety. That was, I remember now, that was a trigger when I saw that sign, that the anxiety started to decrease because I knew that place doesn't kill animals. Right? But I'll tell you what, by the time I left that place, I was feeling good. I wasn't feeling any signs of hypertension, no tightness in my chest, no nothing. I was there for like 2.5 hours, and the lady knew that I had to go to an emergency in the hospital. She didn't know what, because they didn't discuss it with her. I didn't want to. If I discussed it with her, I would probably feel sick again, you know. So I was just, oh, I had to go to the hospital, you know. I just want my doggies, you know. So that's how we did, you know. And she was so nice. That place was so nice there. Yeah, I was so. And you know what was kind of shocking to me? I didn't mention this on the other video, but I said, okay, so how much they gave shots to them. Update, they gave Chica a chip, and heartworm medicine, like, you know, to, you know, I was like, oh, thank you for all that stuff, right? I asked for the chip for Chica because I knew she didn't have one. And I was like, so, you know, how much is the chip? And they're like, you know, it's $10. I'm all, oh, that's it? Because I paid like $25 for Brian. And they're like, yeah, you know, I was like, all right, yeah, let me get one for her. And she's like, all right. I'm all, wow. And I'm all, how much is the other stuff? They're like, oh, no, it's free. And I was like, wow, you know, like, that's really nice. You know, Chica came in and kind of moved the camera a little bit. And I was like, whoa. So I actually donated $200. I said, you know what? When you charge me for that $10, go ahead and charge me for $210. And she looks up in shock. She looked up in shock. And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah. It was shocking to me too. What, don't people donate to them? I feel so bad. Baby, come up here if you want, Chica. Come here. Come on. She wants to come up. And the look on her face was shock. I said, yeah, $100 because of each dog. And she was just like, thank you. Like, you know, we're all volunteers. We're all volunteers here. And no. That place needs more, you know, support, I think, you know. They're so nice over there. I was shocked. I only gave $200, you know. I mean, I guess $200 is a lot for some people, you know. But, you know, I just did it. You know what I mean? What can I say? You know? And she was really grateful. And after I did that, even, like, you know, we only do this for people who are, you know, with our system, but I'm going to give you all kinds of referral places that you can go and, you know, like, get help for the dog. Because I was talking about the dogs mostly when I was there. I was talking about Chica and her aggression. We were talking about Doggy Daddy. Doggy Daddy is very popular everywhere, you know. And so she's like, oh, okay. So she gave me all this information, like a stack of papers of where I could call to get help, where I can get neuter, where I can get training in the town if I need it, like all kind of things. She was so nice, and it was a pleasant experience. I sat there even and waited for paperwork and all this stuff for 2.5 hours, but you know what? I didn't mind, because what that lady actually didn't know is she was my nurse at that moment. She was God's nurse, you know, because having these conversations with her and talking about things and stuff, because I was asking about the organization too, and my everything just went. By the time I was driving away, like, I felt totally like a totally different person. Yeah, until I got back here, and then I started talking again about what happened on the, you know, yesterday, but I couldn't continue. I was too trauma until today, and I still feel good even after talking about all that. I feel good, probably because I spoke about the lady at the animal shelter, you know. But that's, you know, that's what happened, you guys. And I'm going to cut this short now. If I have anything to talk about later, I will. But I'm sorry to keep you so long. For anybody that was interested in what happened to me yesterday, it was absolutely horrendous, absolutely terrible service. Those people traumatize others, especially those with PTSD, which can land these people, if they don't have control of their emotions, in, you know, custody. So be careful out there, because these hospitals don't have your best interest at heart. They just prefer you to just get locked up and throw away the key. And that's what they were trying to do, but they're just not smart enough for me. I'm smarter than them, okay? Not the doctor, but I'm sure I have more education than all of those nurses there. So they picked on the wrong person. So that's all I have for you guys. This was February 18th, 2024. This is Sacred Geometry Universe Video Journal Diary. And I'll talk to you next time. Hopefully this gets uploaded. Bye.